Sebastian listens in Salt Lake City. Doug's in Pontiac, Michigan. Andrew's in Chicago. And Ken listens in Charlotte, North Carolina. Speaking of out of state, I got one more trip to give to you in about 20 minutes, right around 5:10. Last chance for you to get to L.A. The show is next weekend. It's our Alter Ego Festival. 5th or 6th year for this, I think. The Red Hot Chili Peppers are your headliners. They're kicking off their 2023 tour at the Alter Ego Festival. Jack White, Muse, Phoenix, Churches. A lot of good bands, great bands. A lot of them with new stuff out. I don't know that Muse has done any live shows recently. So there's one trip left for you and a pal to get out there.
That's another one of those bands that you wouldn't expect Poundcake to know, but he does know Muse.
He does. He's heard enough of their songs in movies and television shows. And I think isn't one of the guitar player or the front man's married to Kate Hudson or something like that?
Oh, I don't know.
She has a type. She was just in Glass Onion. Kate Hudson looks great. You're talking about Angela Bassett. Kate Hudson looks awesome.
She looks real good. I really did like that movie. That was a lot of fun.
It was great. That Janelle Monáe is gorgeous. Gorgeous.
You got Catherine Hahn, who's hilarious. And
from Cleveland, Ohio.
Very pretty as well.
Yep. Dave Bautista is becoming quite the thespian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great cast. Ed Norton, cool to see him.
I always like when he plays a prick.
Yeah.
That's just his best character, kind of, when he's playing someone like that, or his character in Rounders when he's just kind of this, just this guy that like, I don't think I like him, but he's still kind of charming at the same time.
25th Hour.
25th Hour is a fantastic movie.
And you really got to give it up to Daniel Craig. You know, it would be easy to just see him as James Bond, but he's so good in those. He's doing that goofy Cajun accent. But,
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And there was talks that Rian Johnson, director, was going to let him do a different accent in every movie, but never address it. Yeah. Which would have been very funny. But I think everybody just loves him doing that accent, so he stuck with it. And I love just the trope of the gentleman detective that's like world famous. That like
he's got like a Foghorn Leghorn vibe.
There's no famous detectives in the real world. Nobody's like, oh, who's gonna solve this case?
Let's get the world's greatest detective, Benoit Blanc.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of those old Agatha Christie movies, which I'm a sucker for too. Kenneth Branagh plays Hercule Poirot and all these new Death on the Nile, and I love those when I was a kid for some reason. Figure 'em outs, as Mary Santora calls them. Cavaliers are in Denver tonight. Got bureau chiefs there. If you're going to the game, send us some photos. Cavs Nuggets, 9 o'clock tonight here on WMMS and on the iHeartRadio app. So 8:30 is when Cavs Live pregame will begin. Then they just beat the Suns here at home. They will go play them in Phoenix on Sunday night. They'll be in Salt Lake City to play Donovan Mitchell's old team, the Jazz, on Tuesday. They're on the road for a minute. They're on the road all next week. They're in Portland, Minneapolis, and they come back home to play the Pelicans. That is an MLK Day game. We will be preempted by the Cavaliers on Martin Luther King Day. That's a 3 o'clock tip-off on MMS. Cavs, Pelicans. Was that Zion?
Yeah.
Is he active?
I think he's out for a couple weeks with he's very good, but the way
Injury
he plays is just really rough on his body. Yeah.
Stephen Canton says you guys are forgetting about Detective William Friday. I mean, I guess we are.
I don't think he ever actually solved the case.
Never did, but it wasn't for lack of trying.
Right.
You got to give it up to whoever you can give it up to.
William Friday, investigative reporter.
Living in a digital age, most people have canceled their newspaper subscription years ago. However, at 6200 Oak Tree Boulevard, there are still some idiots that like to read a big, cumbersome newspaper instead of just using their smartphones. And someone's stealing the newspapers. Who would steal a big, floppy newspaper?
I don't remember. Do you remember that?
Well, because we
Somebody was stealing the newspapers?
We were getting Cleveland Scene magazines delivered. They'd bring them to the
lobby.
station, the lobby, and someone was stealing them all. They'd be there for like a minute, and then they'd all go away.
Boulevard to get down to the bottom of this case. Hey, lady, who's stealing all these newspapers?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
How would it feel to steal newspapers?
Dude, it feels so good.
Sir, if you saw someone with ink all over his hands, would you assume that he stole newspapers like a moron?
Yeah, give it away.
But what would be the motive? Maybe if they were post-apocalyptic time travelers that used old newspapers to fuel their time machine, I could understand that, but that seems unlikely. I hit a dead end in my investigation, and I turned to the one lady I can always rely on. Suri, who's stealing all the newspapers?
Bill Squire is stealing all the newspapers to make a papier-mâché sex doll.
God damn it, Suri.
William Friday.
Paper mache
back when we had
sex
production.
doll. There you go. Yeah. Those were the days.
when we could run down the hall and be like, "Hey, Miles, we have a dumb idea."
There you go. And he produced it in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Canton selected as the contestant tonight for the Cavs Sure Shot contest.
Ooh.
He could win $1,000 or tickets to a game. There you go. Congratulations, buddy.
$1,000 or $1,000 and?
Or.
Ooh, which one would you pick?
$1,000.
Tristan Thompson's mother dies suddenly in Toronto.
That's sad.
Mm-hmm. She had a heart attack yesterday, and they couldn't resuscitate her.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Because he's not an old dude, so she's probably only in her 50s,
Yeah,
right?
she's not an old mom. I've seen her
Yeah.
on the show a couple times. She's young.
The Kardashians?
Beautiful.
Yeah, she's probably in her 50s, right? Maybe early 60s?
Early 60s, but still, that's scary because my mom's in her early 60s, and I don't want to think about anything like that.
Yeah. Andrea Thompson.
Life's not fair, man.
He's 31. She is, doesn't say how old. Anyway, yeah, that sucks. Thank you to whoever texted me that, because I wouldn't have seen that. Sunday, by the way. So we're talking Cavs, also talking Browns. Sunday, that last Browns home game, we got jammed up by the weather. So the last Cox out party of the year, unprecedented, first ever for a Browns away game. They're in Pittsburgh, play the Steelers, so we're going to do a watch party at the Ivy. If you joined us before, we'll be there again, the very last Cox out of the season. This Sunday, we're going to be there from 1 to 3. The Ivy is West 6 and Lakeside. It's the very last chance for you to win that trip to the Bahamas from Bud Light. So I'd love for you to come and hang. Sunday afternoon, 1 to 3 is when I'll be there at the Ivy for the very last Cox out. I was reading an article about a guy who runs the one Browns backers bar in Pittsburgh. Place in Bellevue, just outside of downtown. It's called, what's it called? 202 Pizza Joint or something like that. 202 Hometown Tacos. There's a guy who runs the Browns bar in Pittsburgh. And he has a bullhorn that screams Yinzer alert anytime somebody comes in a Steelers jersey. He said he just loves messing with Steeler fans. He moved to Pittsburgh from Youngstown 20 years ago. And so he runs I got to tell you, when I first moved back home to Chicago, my girlfriend at the time moved with me, and she was from Pittsburgh. And one of her first orders of business is she wanted to find Steelers bars in Chicago. And there are a lot of them. Some of them have since closed. Durkin's was a big one. There's Joe's on Weed Street. Our Chicago bureau chiefs know these places are. Lincoln Tap Room. These were all Steelers bars. There's a Browns bar in Chicago. Old Crow. They have the Chi-Town Dog Pound. There isn't one single Bears bar in Cleveland, Ohio. There's no place I can post up. There's no Bears backer bar in Cleveland. I go to Chicago, every team's got bars. Steeler bars, Browns bars. There's like a Seahawks bar in Chicago. There isn't one Bears backer bar in Cleveland. I know what you're saying. Alan, why don't you open one?
Yeah.
Stop. No.
You don't even have to open one. You just have to start a Bears backer, and then you tie that in with a certain bar.
Yeah, me and 3 other dudes. Come on.
Well, that's maybe if the Bears had more fans.
They have plenty of fans.
Then how come there's no
just
bars?
not here.
There's not any bars. You know?
Does Kristen Cavallari's husband still play for them?
No. Jay Cutler?
Yeah.
No. Nope.
They cut him? The cutler.
Yeah. No, we have a young man named Justin Fields who is sadly from the Ohio State University, but he is going to be the real deal with the Chicago Bears. He's going to be the real deal. But no, we don't have Jay Cutler anymore. We did have Mitch Trubisky, who didn't really do anything with the Bears. But he, where did he go? Where did Trubisky go?
He's with the Steelers now.
Steelers. There you go. That's right.
Spent a year in Buffalo, and then went to Pittsburgh.
There you go. So anyway, Sunday, 1 to 3, last Cox out. Come hang. I'd like to see you to kick off 2023. Alan Cox Show After Hours line. You always drop us messages there if you like. It is 216-986-8903.
Hey, Alan, it's Melanie from Parma Heights. I got an idea while watching yesterday/Thursday's live stream with the last segment. What if there was some kind of arrangement that was made between your mom and Cody to sell your dad's car to Cody? Your mom needs to get rid of a car. Cody needs a more reliable car. Maybe that's something that can work out. Here's the show. Love you guys. Bye.
Could you imagine that? Telling my mom, hey, let's sell my dad's car to Poundcake?
Mm-hmm.
No, why would I ever?
It'd be like you guys are family now.
Oh, my God. I won't even let him in my house.
She should just
I'm driving
donate it
around
to
my
him.
late father's car.
I gotta sniff all the seats, you know.
He
Gotta
wouldn't
christen
even,
it.
he made it very clear that if he lost his weight loss bet, he wouldn't pay Mary her money.
Right.
And now what? He's going to be on the hook to make payments with my mom for my dad's car? Are you insane? Melanie, come on. I'd like to see what my mom would say. Hey, Mom,
She's just looking
let's
for
sell.
a buyer.
Yeah, she'd go, what's a pound cake? I'd have to tell her the story. Is this guy on my show? Yeah, let's do that. What a great, let's have him go. What, is she going to drive? Well, just logistically, how does this work out?
It's like Cars for Kids, except she.
Cars for cakes.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna pay for a truck to, get it here.
You're not paying for
And then-
nothing.
And then
1877 Cars for Cakes. But that's car donation.
What's car donation?
Cars for Kids. You donate your car.
I'm not donating nothing.
Well, it's a
No,
write-off.
she would donate it to you.
She would donate it to you. But I want her to sell it.
yeah, you don't have to donate it to me. I would, like I said, if I
He ain't
had
going
the
to pay no
money-
$12,000 for my dad's car.
Well, no, I'm not. But
That's what I'm saying.
that's why I wouldn't make an offer.
Right.
I don't want stuff from people, contrary to popular belief. I just got done saying
Contrary to what you've said.
I will go without. But if people keep offering me stuff, I'm not asking for it. I just come home and there's just a new car in my driveway.
Yeah, there's the
I'm
sound.
like, oh my God. And then beep, beep. Oh my God, it smells just like Alan.
I never once even rode in my father's car, so it's not
Really?
going to smell like me.
Well, I don't want it now. So even if she gave it to me, I wouldn't take it.
I've only ridden in my mom's car one time.
Did you drive your mom's car? Did you,
No.
like, my mom's one
I
of those
rode
people-
home. Oh, what was it? I rode with her somewhere. I think I rode with her to the church to meet with the priest about my dad's funeral mass. I rode shotgun in my mom's car, but I had never been in my mom's car before that. And I'd never rode in my dad's car. I don't live there. You know what I mean? Like I'm home a couple times a year.
I got you.
And I have my own car when I'm there. So
My mom's one of those people that if me or my brother's home and we're going somewhere, she knows she's not driving. Like, she don't even grab her keys because she points to someone like, you or you. And
you chauffeur your mom around.
yeah, she
Yeah,
don't
but you
even-
know you'll get there faster too.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad. We'll get there faster.
And I hate riding in people. I hate riding shotgun. I don't like being a passenger in a car. I hate it. So I would just rather drive.
My mom gets in and there's immediately it's too cold or too hot in here. Mainly it's too hot because I never had my car, or mainly it's too cold. I never had my car too hot. But she's like, oh, my achy bones. I can't believe you just drive with this AC on. I'm like, well, maybe if you drove with AC on when we were kids, maybe I wouldn't be trying to relive my, trying to correct some
Make up
things.
for love.
My mom was always like,
hot rides.
Roll down the window. I'm like, Mom, the outside air is hot too. Well, then, whatever.
So you're constantly throwing your childhood in your mom's face.
She always throws, she always uses, I can't believe you would just let your mom just sit over here and shiver. I'm like, well, you could have drove, but you didn't want to.
You could have drove.
No, you could have. You could have drove.
Coulda.
Coulda. Coulda. Coulda.
Wow, you and your mom always button heads over that stuff. She got you wrapped around her finger, son.
We're a family of just button heads. We all love each other.
Yep. All right. I know what'll make you feel better.
It's Brian. Let me play a groove.
In this place with a new set of eyes.
Oh, he cut himself off.
No.
Right when he was really starting to shred there. Whipping those arpeggios around. Brian checking in. Yeah, he's always, now when he calls, it's the show's on in the background and there's these big long pauses. Like he's walking across the room to pick up his guitar. Like you think you'd have it right there on your knee or on a strap around your neck when you call.
He's
Alan,
got
no matter
a process.
what,
He's got a process. He's got a way of getting into the groove.
Yeah. You can find a Browns backers bar just about anywhere in this country.
It's true. My friend was in L.A., and he met people from Ohio at the Browns backer bar, and they formed their own little clique.
Yeah. Well, because some bars you'll walk into, like I mentioned when I first moved back home, Steeler bars, they're owned by somebody from Pittsburgh or whatever, so the place is covered in like Steelers stuff. The Browns bar is just the place where the group meets.
Up.
Yeah. The Chi-Town Dog Pound. Alan, no one likes the Bears. Clearly not here in one bar. And don't tell me cocktails on Detroit. I get it. A lot of Bears in there. That's not what I'm talking about. I understand what you're doing there. Not on drag night, there isn't. What does Bill think of Jadeveon Clowney's comments? Yeah, he's done, right?
Yeah,
I heard Stansbury talking about it.
He's a guy that comes across as pretty selfish, and he didn't.
Has that
much
always
this
been the case?
season. Nah, I mean, he had a pretty decent season last year. This season, he only had, I think, 2 sacks, and he's like, "Oh, they're favoring Miles and putting him on easier matchups so that he can get into the Hall of Fame." And this, and so he's,
Is that true? Do you have a point?
Well, you put your best player in the best place to have success so that you can play the best defense. And so, I mean, he doesn't seem like a real team guy at this point.
He says they're not setting him up to succeed.
Right. But he also, I mean,
the implication being, hey, put me in there and I'll kill it. But you might not.
But he hasn't been.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. He seems bitter.
Because he was a number 1 pick, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And he's been an above average player for most of his career, but he's also at the tail end of his career at this point. And he, he's probably having a tough time coming to terms with that. And so he's like, oh, they're not, they just want to set up Miles and not me. And it's like, well, Miles is the guy on that defense. So they're going to set him up because he's the one that's producing too.
Well, there you go. That's what Bill thinks
of
Jadeveon Clowney's comments. Let me send you to Los Angeles. You're going to get the last trip here. Our 2023 Alter Ego Festival. Red Hot Chili Peppers. They're starting their 2023 tour. With this date, it's next weekend at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles. Chili Peppers, Jack White, Muse, Churches, Phoenix. Great lineup. Some other bands on there too. You and a pal, fly you out, put you up, tickets to the whole thing. I think there's money involved. It's your last shot to win one of these trips. So listen closely and good luck.
Now, your chance at a trip to our 2023 iHeartRadio